Good evening and a huge welcome. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I'm going to give it a few moments just to calm myself. There's always a few panicky moments when I go live. Is it working? Is anyone going to come and watch and join me? Or worse than that, am I just going to be chatting to myself? Now I'm feeling like it might be a little bit echoey in here because as you can see, I'm not in my normal room because it is extremely warm again and it's just too much sunlight up in my studio at the moment. So let me introduce myself. In case we haven't met, my name is Fiona and I am the designer behind Cozy Rosie UK and the designer behind the Hodgepodge Blanket Crochet Along. And that's going to be the main subject today, although I do have a few bits that I want to show you where the odd thing has kind of slipped into my virtual basket over the last couple of weeks. And unfortunately, that means that I did buy them. I promised myself that I wouldn't buy any yarn this month, as in July, and actually ended up getting a little bit more than I'd planned. But it does mean that I get to showcase and trial. It's all for your benefit. It's nothing to do with me. I am going to get to try some new yarn this week. I'm just going over to start my video in my own group because I want to be able to see comments and things, and sometimes they don't come through. If you are in the Facebook community group, please give StreamYard approval for me to see your comments. Otherwise, I don't see a name if you comment. So I would like to know where you are watching from, where you are right now in the world. I am in Northampton in the UK, in my home, in my front room, which has no curtains or carpet because we're still renovating this room. It's taken us over a year, what with changes to plans and everything else going on. Now, it's actually been quite a while since I have been live, and that is mainly due to the fact that it has been quite a year. If you're only quite new to following me, at the start of this year, my mum had a fall and I had to go and stay there for a couple of months while she was recovering. And then sadly, I lost my dog. That was in, give the exact date, don't need to do that. That was in April. And now, in case you weren't aware, I'm actually going to be donating my kidney to to a mother-in-law in literally 3 weeks. So this time in 3 weeks, everything will be done and dusted and I should be recovering from the operation. But yes, that's the next big thing that's going on in my life. So before that, hello. Thank you for saying hi. Really appreciate it. It's lovely to have you here watching. So before we get into any more about me, I want to tell you a little bit about the Hodgepodge Blanket Crochet Along. So this is going to be starting officially on the 15th of August. Today it has gone on pre-sale, so you can purchase the pattern now, but you don't need to. It is going to be a free crochet along, and that means that it's going to be available on my website, and each and every pattern, every one of the squares that are released in that blanket crochet along are going to have a full video tutorial for you as well. This is going to be quite a feat for me to get all of this done in time, but I'm really excited by it and I want to give you a sneak peek of some of my favorite squares later in this video as well. So because it's been such a year, I have to be honest, I did unfortunately lose my crojo. Now, if you're not familiar with that kind of term, it literally means that my motivation to crochet kind of upped and went. And it's really strange. It's the first time I've really experienced that kind of a block. Obviously, I'm quite a busy designer. I love to design things in crochet. I like to crochet anyway. And actually, I found it really hard to be inspired to kind of keep creating and coming up with new things to kind of share with you. Luckily, I had lots and lots of commitments that I was I was committed to. I had to deliver patterns to people on time, and I don't like to be late. I have been on occasion this year, unfortunately, but people have been very, very kind and kind of allowed me to kind of get on with things. And actually, I'm really proud of lots of the designs that have come out, including my Gloriosa Flame sweater. I was going to wear it. It is too hot even for a crocheted cotton sweater right now. It's just too hot. But yeah, there's been some amazing designs that I've done this year and I'm really proud of them. I did bring another one downstairs to show you. Oh, it's right behind my computer. Let me grab it. Very proud of this one as well. This one, I've got my label still for my yarn in here because I was very proud of myself. So this is, if you haven't seen this one, this is my Blackberry Stitch Teapot Cozy. It was made probably the most expensive yarn I've bought for something that's just going to be used by me. But this is the Malabrigo chunky periwinkle coloured yarn. So that's the label for this yarn here. And it's so squishy. One of the things, let me take this off of the Teapot Cozy, the teapot itself. One of the things that I absolutely love about this yarn, I'll get a nice close up for you, is that not only is it 100% merino, 100% merino wool, the colours that it comes in are just so beautiful. It's like it is a hand dyed yarn, so you get a bit of that kind of almost, you can see the different flecks of the way that the dye has been absorbed, so it makes it a much more interesting yarn to work with. I absolutely love it. If anyone here has ever tried the Malabrigo, please tell me, because I was blown away by the quality and I really, really enjoyed it. So I'm really pleased to have been able to release some really great patterns. But there was one of the commitments that I had was to take part and design in a collaborative crochet along, and that is the sampler poncho, which is being hosted right now. Actually, it's still available. It's being hosted by Itchin' for Some Stitchin'. She's a very large she's not large, but she has a large following on Instagram as a designer. And this stitch sampler poncho is really quite a nice poncho. It's going to be great for those colder weathers as well. Hi Tammy, welcome in Georgia, USA. Wowzers, that's a long way from here. But you're also probably experiencing quite warm weather, I imagine. And for me, looking at those kind of bigger projects like those ponchos and those really heavy set sweaters at the moment, it's in the back of my mind. I need to start making for winter and autumn. I'm just not quite there yet. And I had, as I said, I had to design a square for the sampler poncho. And actually it triggered something and reignited my passion for crocheting again. So the square that I designed for that stitch sampler or for the poncho was the cable and crossed square. Now this is already released and available on my YouTube channel. You can find the pattern for this lovely square already. But I don't know what it was. It's like I almost forgot how much I love making smaller projects. I've made some really big projects in the fact that I've made, I think, 4 or 5 different crochet garments this year. Some detailed kind of homewares. I made another square that was actually just before the start of the year. And that was this is also available on my channel. This is the Springtime Blossom Granny Square. This is a little bit larger. That's a 10-inch square or 11-inch square. And I really like it because it is obviously 3D. And again, really proud of this design. But this cable and cross square was like the answers to my prayers. It literally made me want to design more squares again. Now, the Hodgepodge blanket originally started out in here, literally, actually over 2 years ago. One of the first things I wanted to do as a crochet designer was to create something that was accessible for all levels of crochet skills. So from those beginners all the way through to advanced crocheters. Something that's going to keep people intrigued if they do have those advanced level skills, but it's going to be easy enough for beginners to know that they can master these techniques. So over a period of a few months, I have designed, let me show you, 30 different crochet square patterns. And these are going to make up the Hodgepodge blanket. So the crochet along itself, as I said, is starting on the 15th of August, and every day for 30 days, there is going to be a brand new crocheted square pattern for you to follow along and make. At the end of the event, which is only going to be mid-September, we're going to come together and join all of these squares. If you're like me and you've probably got a stack of granny squares somewhere that you are kind of sitting there unjoined, just want to reassure you that's not going to happen with this blanket. We're going to make sure we get them joined, because we've all been there where we've started a project and it gets put to the side. But this is one that I singing my own praises. I think I should really. All the squares are so different. There, if I tell you just some of these squares, and I show you a couple of my favorites, because as I mentioned, this is going to be a beginner-friendly blanket pattern, but it's going to keep everybody intrigued. If you're an advanced crocheter, there's probably nothing in here that's going to challenge you, but there might be a couple of things that you've never made before, and that makes me excited. So one that is going to be really useful for beginners, it looks so subtle in this light, but it's going to be tapestry crochet. Just a really nice basic introduction into tapestry crochet so that we can make a fully reversible square. So this is a very lightly coloured two-tone square, but as you can see, it's fully reversible. Nearly all of the squares in this blanket crochet along are also fully reversible because obviously, well, I want it to look nice on both sides. But yeah, so that's just one of the techniques that's going to be covered, which is going to be the tapestry crochet. Has anyone here ever done tapestry crochet? Let me know if you have in the comments. If you're a granny square lover, if like granny squares are the things that you kind of make but never get around to finishing into a blanket, I would also like to know, because I want to know how I can prevent that from happening in this event for people. One of the other squares, again, is a nice basic square, but it's going to cover one of those techniques that I think is really important for everyone to know, which is going to be fillet crochet, fillet crochet, whatever you want to call it. So as you can see, fillet crochet actually creates, you skip stitches to create little holes, and then you can put them into lots of different designs. This is just a really easy kind of window design, and you can see it again, fully reversible. There's nothing in there that's going to kind of show up in that respect as well. So that's another one of the squares that's going to feature later in the event too. And then we have one of my designs that I am actually super stoked to share with you, just one of them, because there are 5 in this event and there's going to be one of them released a week. I've kind of worked out the launch in that much detail, where they're going to be a little bit different from what people are expecting to be included in the blanket, either because they've got a lot of stitch detail or they have kind of different kind of stitch patterns. And for me, I really like this square. This is, I've very roughly blocked this. I need to block it properly. I didn't have enough pins. This is the octagon pinwheel square, another brand new design that works in the round, that creates these beautiful kind of pinwheels in the middle. I can't hold it so you can see all of it. Got a lovely pinwheel in the middle, coming out as a hexagon, and then turning into a square as it's finished. And now that square has not even gone to my testers yet. My testers have been absolutely phenomenal with this kind of testing this crochet along. They've been doing it kind of within the same time scale as the part, as people taking part will do as well, so that I can test that it is actually physically possible for people, that haven't made these squares before, but also to ensure that every single square makes sense. Now, something I always do is get my patterns tested and edited. Obviously, everyone's human, nothing can be 100% perfect, but I want to try and eliminate any errors as much as possible. I have an interesting story about that, in my newsletter this Friday, I had a couple of replies from my wonderful subscribers, and I'm really, really grateful to them. I don't know what it is, but I have this thing where if I make a mistake in writing, like typing or something, I just can't see it on the screen. So if you ever spot a spelling mistake from me, please don't worry, just let me know. I actually will love you for it, because I can see other people's mistakes, but I can't see my own. I'm sure there's a word for that. It might be a narcissist or something, but who knows? Definitely, it's just something I cannot see. I don't know why. So yeah, so there's some of my absolute favorite designs that are going to be launched. I would love to know what you think about those ones. I do have a couple of, I'm trying to see if I can show you one without, oh, here's another one actually, without changing the order. Actually, just reading how you've put that, my mind is always working faster than my computer works, which can be incredibly frustrating as well. This is, if I can remember, forked clusters. Have to be careful how I say that. This is actually, I've already shared a photo of this square in a couple of places, including into the community group as well. I absolutely am in love with this stitch. It's this kind of blanket has kind of allowed me to kind of go back and try some more of the stitches that I've just never got around to making something in. And I think that's why I'm so excited about this crochet along, is because I'm going to get to introduce people to these kind of more unusual or not used so much kind of stitches. Some of the stitches I've had to kind of change around a bit so that we can make sure that they fit into those 8-inch squares that we're going to be creating. So yes, if you're not good at maths like I'm not, I had to use a calculator. We're doing 30 squares and they are 8 inches each. So that is going to make pretty much a perfect lapghan sized blanket. Now, that's a terminology that I never knew. So a lapghan is considered like a blanket that will fit on your lap. So I believe that there's a common term that Americans use for blankets or crochet blankets is an afghan. Now, to me, that is someone that's from Afghanistan. So a lapghan I find more acceptable, and it's just lap sized. It's just for you to kind of put over yourself and kind of snuggle and watch the TV in. And yeah, that's going to be the finished size. It's 40 inches by 48 inches. Just big enough for you to snuggle. Now, don't worry, if you do want to make your blanket even bigger, you're going to be able to, because I've already done the maths for you. So if you haven't already, you can head on over to the link in the description box where you can go and grab a materials list. I have no idea what that sound was. Can't be anything serious. Go and head over to the link in the description box and grab your materials list so that you can gather all the materials you need. Now, obviously, the materials that are on that list are based on the blanket as it's been written. So just with 30 squares. If you want to make a bigger blanket, you are going to need more yarn. Now, the yarn that I used for my crochet for my own blanket, I can find an unused ball, is my favorite. It is my paint box yarns, Simply Aran. The reason that I've used this is I bought a lot of it mainly to make a blanket with, and I thought, why not? But it is, as you know, if you've ever watched any of my other videos, I use a lot of paint box yarns simply because it washes so well, it lasts well. It is 100% acrylic, and you know, I am aware that there are impacts on that, but I've got it in my stash and I wanted to use it. So this is what I've used. I've used a total of 5 different colours. I've only used 4 of them in my blanket squares, but the 5th colour is going to be my border around my squares and around my blanket. So I've got quite bright colours from that, my bubblegum pink, again, one of my favourite pinks from Lovecrafts. You've also got the tea rose, I believe it's called, which is that purple colour, along with the pale lilac, champagne white, and I've got the stormy grey as well as the border colour. Can you tell I'm still nervous about that noise? It's going to be fine. Yes, the price is great when it comes to that yarn, but there may be a way to do this blanket on an even better price. If, like me, you have a bit of a stash of yarn, because it is a hodgepodge blanket, that means you can grab any of the colours that you absolutely love and kind of put them together and create your own blanket. As I've said, within the square designs, there are only ever a maximum of 4 colours ever used in one square. Otherwise, they're a solid colour, 2 colours, 3 colours, or 4 colours. Oh, I know what it is. Ignore me. Worked out what the noise is. Anywho, it's fine. So yeah, you could shop your stash. And of course, if you've got scrap yarn and you've got like kind of half a ball left of something, you're not even going to need half a ball for most of these squares. They do not weigh very much at all. From the yardage point of view, the most you're going to need of any one of the colours is 3 balls of Aran. And these are 184 metres. I didn't even need to read that, I remembered. So I think it's about between 350 and 400 metres of each of the colour. So whatever that is times 5. Yeah, and I can tell that's Bernadine that's commenting because she's saying shelf shopping for the win. And that is 100% one of her phrases, definitely. So as I've said, this is going to be a free crochet along. I know that a lot of people prefer to look at a written pattern that is not covered in adverts on a website and that kind of thing. I understand that. So there is the option for you to purchase the printable pattern as well. Now, what I've done is, because I've launched this a little bit early, I'm giving people an early bird special, like a little discount. It's not a little discount, it's actually half price. So 50% off the normal price right now. There is a special code that you're going to need, which is HPCAL early. Yes, if you are in my community group, in the Facebook community group, I'm going to share a link straight after this live so that you can go and grab your copy. I've put it out on my email as well, and you can access all this information through the blog post that's the website that's listed in the description box as well for you on YouTube. So what I would really like to know is there a crochet technique that you've never tried that you think, actually, I need to learn this? This is something that I asked kind of back in January this year, trying to find out what people wanted to learn. Because alongside that tapestry crochet, there's going to be, it's my door slamming in the other room. We're going to be learning, and it's getting to me, that noise. We are going to be learning tapestry crochet, how to change color, how to work in the round, lots of different lacy stitches, different kind of stitch patterns. Of course, we're going to learn how to join our squares. We are going to be learning lots of different things throughout this crochet along, and I'm really excited to share it all with you. More excited, there's going to be the opportunity to go live a lot more, kind of find out where you are, if you're having any questions about these squares as well. Now, someone's put mochila bags. Now, I am not entirely sure what that even is. I know that there is the Japanese knot bag that's very popular at the moment. And again, actually, I don't know how that's constructed. I'm not a great one for making pretty bags, if that makes sense. Mine tend to be very more practical when it comes to crochet bags, because my bags get used a lot. So if you can explain a little bit more about that, or I will research into that for you and come back to you as well. It's like tapestry and from South America. Okay, I am going to have to make a note of that and find out more. So it might be a different way of doing the color work as well, because color work is a whole subject all by itself. I'm not going to claim to be an expert on all the different ways of doing color changes. I know that we have the tapestry crochet square in here on my channel. If you've ever seen my Show the Love wall hanging, it has like a puff stitch heart, and that uses Instasha and a combination of Fair Isle, where it has floats of yarn. But that one I have not heard of, so I will look into that. So thank you very much for sharing. Now, I know that there aren't many people that haven't, how do I put this? Okay, let me tell you, there is a bonus square. There's actually 31 squares. Could you have hung on so long with me rabbiting on about my passion for granny squares? I am super excited to share with you that there is a bonus square. I have a wonderful designer who's going to be guest posting on my website, and they are sharing with us a technique that I currently am not proficient in. That's the phrase I'm sticking to. I have not perfected it, so I am inviting in a designer to share a square of their own, along with a video of their own, to show us how it's done. And this technique is going to be Tunisian crochet. It is a beautiful, simplistic design, and it's going to be quite a nice introduction to the Tunisian technique. And I'm really excited to share that with you. I haven't got a date for that square launching, actually. I don't know whether or not to leave it to the end in case you want to insert it, or share it quite early on so we can all kind of have a go, maybe together live. Because as I said, I am no expert at Tunisian crochet. The few times that I have tried it, I find it very similar to knitting. And I have like this thing in my head where I can't knit. I can knit on a knitting machine, but I cannot knit with my two hands. No, you will not need a special hook to do the, what's it called? The Tunisian square, because it's only 8 inches. So you might have to bunch some of your stitches up. If you have the hook with the wire on the end, you can use that, of course. But no, it's just going to be very, very simple. It's only a short 8-inch square. So you'll be able to do that Tunisian square using your normal crochet hook. However, you will need, I haven't got one because I don't really use it very much. It's probably a straight square, a straight hook. A straight metal hook is going to be the easiest thing to do that on. Obviously, with our beautiful furls hooks, those that have the ergonomic handles, they will stretch your stitches because the Tunisian just kind of stacks up along the hook, and then you pull back through all of them. Normal, that's probably a better word for it, yes. A normal crochet hook. Let me have some caffeine, it'll all be fine. No, a clover would probably not work. again, because it has that ergonomic and the thumbprint area. I mean, like what I would consider an absolute beginner hook. You know, you get the pack of 20 from Amazon or from any kind of yarn shop where they just have literally a metal hook. Very, very plain and simple. I would say if you've never tried Tunisian hook, you don't have to make that investment to purchase a Tunisian hook. Everyone I know that has tried Tunisian has probably gone on to buy a set of Tunisian crochet hooks. And I certainly have lots of people that can make brilliant recommendations for those. I have one Tunisian hook, which actually luckily corresponds for this crochet blanket. And I'm going to be giving it a go. So I will share more details with that a little bit later in the week. Obviously, we've got the current materials list out that doesn't include the Tunisian. So I will make sure that I update that. So thank you. Now, would you like, oh, that door. Would you like to have a little sneak peek at some of the yarn that I've received or purchased over the last couple of weeks? Should we start with what was sent to me or selected? So, did you see it? Now, I posted about this on, I put it in my email and I put it on my YouTube stories about, I was a bit shocked when I first saw this because it's actually an incredibly bright colour and I don't think it's going to show up very well on this lighting. I don't know if you keep up with kind of colour trends. It's not something I normally do for myself, but definitely as part of like being aware that things are going to show up on Instagram, I do try and stick to more trending types of colours, although I do definitely have my brand colours. So I can see already in the corner that looks orange. This is not an orange yarn. It's so bright it doesn't show up. Can I make it darker? No. This is basically a fluorescent pink. It almost glows, and I'm actually in love with it. The more I look at it, the more I love it. And it is the Wonder yarn from from Furls Crochet. Furls, yeah, they just go by Furls now, don't they? Sorry. It is an acrylic, their premium acrylic Wonder yarn, and I just absolutely, I wish you could see how bright this is. Maybe you can, maybe the lighting is better when it comes through your end of the screen. But wow, it's certainly fluorescent. I have two other colours to go with this, and I might add, I've got some of their silver colour upstairs as well. I'm going to be making a little cheeky design with this that you'll see a bit later. Oh, which one? Now, I did treat myself. I did this last year, and I've still not used the other yarn. On occasion, Love Crafts do what I kind of call their premium sale. It happens kind of once a year in summer, and it's huge discounts on some seriously beautiful yarns. I'm talking high quality, high priced. This is again, I don't know what my obsession is with it. It's 100% virgin wool. It is, again, I really hope these colors are showing up because it's absolutely stunning. It's a Shea & Maya color up. So it's hand dyed style wool. So I don't think it's actually hand dyed. But it is absolutely stunning. It comes in a hank, as you can see, that I'm going to have to untwist and wind. So don't worry, I'll do a reel of that because I always love doing that. But it is absolutely stunning. And inadvertently, it actually matches another color of yarn that I purchased in the same sale. So I think I got 25% off of this. So it was still really expensive. I can't tell you how much it was because it was, my husband might see this and there's limits, you know. So this was another one. You can't, I don't know if you can see any of this. I think I've got the light too light. So this is Landlust Merino. I don't even know who this comes from. I just really like it. Oh, it's Lana Grassa. Wow. Okay. I really did spend a lot on that order. And I bought enough of this to make quite a large project. Once again, I believe this is 94% merino. So again, a very high percentage of merino. This is a bit different. I hope you can see this on the camera. This is, no, that's way too, is that coming through? It's basically a bit of a corded yarn. So it's not a spun yarn like this one or the spun acrylic that you get from the Wonder. It's more of like a looped chain. If you've used, what did I use earlier this year? the Lindy chain from We Crochet. It has a look of that, but obviously it's a lot bigger. Size wise, I'll have to go and shut that door in a minute. Sorry, guys. I don't know what size yarn this is. I'm going to assume it's... How can I not know? Why does it not say? Let's say it looks like it's going to be an Aran weight yarn or worsted weight yarn. And this is the most beautiful pink. I have another colour in this that's going to be like a two-tone project. And I've already told you I've bought loads of it. So it's going to be quite a large project. And this is the final one. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it is showing up. So this is the Metallico from Hobby. This I picked up in the super discounts during Hobby Bingo. I hope you're all playing. There is always that chance that you're going to win. I mean, who doesn't want to win some yarn? This is a fine yarn, and it is fine, both with a I and a Y, because it's beautiful. It's a hand wash only. It's a size 2. So fingering weight, sport weight. I think it's smaller than sport weight. And it has a 10% wool, but you would not notice it's that fine. It's beautiful. 10% acrylic and 70% polyamide. So it's, you know, it is a bit processed, but there's still 10% merino. I'm seeing a theme here. Obviously, my small dive into working with some merino yarn goes to show just how much I fell in love with it, because 3 of the yarns that I bought last month all have merino in them. But of course, I'm still sticking to my wonderful acrylic for when I need something that's going to wash really well. So there you go. I feel like I spent a small fortune this month, but this was gifted. I must point that out. Hashtag gifted, hashtag ad. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. I will mark this video. I didn't know. I forgot about that. I will mark it at the end. I don't have any links to share with you in the comments. I might update those later, but that was given to me from Furls themselves. Very, very grateful for it. And they're going to help me share my pattern with you all in the future, very near future. Must get on to that one. So there you go. There's some of the things I'm going to be working on, but I am going to be making a second Hodgepodge blanket as we go through. Here's another one. This is a bit floppy, this square. If I could tell you, I think this is alternating spikes, this square. And I did it in the dark purple because I just absolutely loved it. There are so many beautiful squares to share with you. I really, really, really can't wait to share all of them with you. I would love to know if you have signed up to take part either by subscribing to this channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell because you'll be made aware as soon as the first video becomes available. And that will be on the 15th of August for the Blanket Crochet Along. If you haven't already, do come and join the Facebook community group if you are a Facebook user. Inside that group, there's going to be more lives and that kind of thing. I'm always present on my Facebook group. It's just my age. I'm a Facebook user. But what I haven't shared with you is there's going to be some giveaways. Now, I'm not a huge one of doing giveaways, and I don't think I've ever done one specifically on YouTube, so I'm not going to. It's still going to be on my other social media channels. If I can, I will work out a way of doing it on here as well, because I want everyone to be able to get involved in some of these giveaways. Now, the first one I'm going to share with you on the first day of the event, which is the 15th of August. But I can already tell you that there is going to be a prize for a prize draw for anybody who shares a photo of their completed blanket on social media. That's quite a nice, easy one. However, the prize is quite, in my mind, it's quite substantial. There's going to be a bit of a swag bag going on. You're going to receive a Cozy Rosie personalized bag, like a tote bag, where you're going to receive a bit of a stash inside. I'm not going to show you what yarn you're going to be getting. There's going to be a hook in there. There's going to be some notions. There's going to be a little notions bag. And it's all going to be very, very beautiful. Just as a bit of a thank you for sharing with me your progress in the blanket. So that's going to be the massive kind of like grand prize. There's going to be lots of opportunities for you to win the complete full printable pattern as well. If you've already purchased, don't worry, I will just simply send you a refund for what you've paid, be it the full price after the end of the event, or if you purchase it now where you get the 50% off, I will refund it to you. It doesn't matter when you bought it if you're a winner. And that's going to be a nice, easy win for you. There's going to be 4 or 5 different times I'm going to do that prize draw, and that's going to be once a week during our live on a Saturday evening. So yes, I can tell you right now when I'm going to be live, and they're all pretty much going to be scheduled by the end of next week so that you can put them in your diaries as well. So every Saturday throughout the event, the only one that might be in question is Saturday the 2nd, because that's only a couple of days after my operation. I'm going to be live either in the Facebook group and or YouTube so that we can get together, have a little bit of a stitch along. We are going to maybe have some sips of drinks and stitch and stitch. I said stitch both times because I want to make sure that you're doing okay in your squares. I also want to be check in and just find out what you're enjoying about it and what's going on with you too. But that's going to be the opportunity for you to snap a picture of one of your crocheted squares and share it to your social media channels. Tag me in that picture and you'll be in with a chance of winning a full printable version of the Crochet Along blanket pattern too. Wow, that seems like I've been chatting. I have been chatting for absolutely ages. And of course, you guys have made it so easy for me to chat away. I really am so excited, and I hope that you can join me for this blanket crochet along too. As I said, all the links are in the description box. I want to thank you for joining me this evening. It's been wonderful to have so many of you watching, and I am going to go and get some dinner and wish you a wonderful Friday evening / afternoon, depending on where you're watching. And I will see you, if not before, on the 15th of August for our first Granny Square being launched. Until then, have an amazing time, and I will see you soon.